LongHaul Larry here, and we're up at the Yooper house, and today we're going to be working on a bunch of projects, and we're going to be doing some barbecuing too of brisket. I've actually been doing this a long time. I learned this actually from a guy that goes on barbecue competitions across the country. I don't know if you ever seen, back in the old days, there was those TV shows that came on of these guys that would go around these barbecue competitions. It was kind of when it first started. On TV like that, it kind of became a thing a little bit. Now there's a ton of different shows and everything and all this stuff. But when it first kind of started this stuff, one of those guys on doing that was actually my ex-wife's uncle. We were married at the time. And he lived out in Colorado. And I went out to his place, and we were out there and stuff on a trip. And he said, hey, I'll do some barbecue for you. And he made me some brisket. I almost got sick on it. I ate so much of it. It was so good. It was so good. It was the best I've ever had in my life. And then every day I was out there, he kept making me stuff and making me different things, ribs and pulled pork, and he kept making breakfast stuff on there. He was doing all kinds of different stuff. And he basically taught me how to do this. And then he had like a little pull trailer that he would it was a big enclosed trailer, and he would use this with all his grills in it. He would drive around the country to different competitions, and one of his batteries that gave him power in there, was on the floor underneath this cabinet he had in there, and the acid all leaked out, and it basically rotted a hole through his floor. So he was all upset about that and talking about patching it or something. And I said, dude, you just got to replace the floor. And he was talking about getting a new one. He's like, I don't know how to do this. So I did it for him. And while I was out there on vacation, and I ripped the floor out of his trailer and put a whole new floor in it. And I put this rubberized coating stuff that you put in boxes of trucks. And I spray lined his whole inside floor and up the walls and stuff. And that way, when he got done with competitions, there was like grease and fat that would always drip out and be all over the place. He could just hose it out and it wouldn't do anything. And at the end of it, when we were just about leaving, he's like, dude, I got to pay you for this. And I'm like, no, you're not paying me nothing. And I said, just keep feeding me. We'll be good. With a bug flying at me. And he ended up giving me a Louisiana grill. And this grill, he used to get these things. He was sponsored by the company. He used to get these things for free when their new models came out. And he said, dude, don't worry about it. Because he had told me that the grill cost like $4,000. And I'm like, I'm not taking that. And he's like, I got a new one coming. He goes, this one is, I'm not going to be using this one anymore. So just take it. And he goes, I got a new one coming. So I took that one, brought it back, and he gave me a bunch of his rub recipes and barbecue sauce recipes. And he gave me instructions on how to do this stuff. And I really started getting into this stuff. And then everybody's, because I do videos once in a while, barbecuing or something like that. I'll put up something. Or my parents, I buy one, or my kids, I have theirs. I bought everybody in the family one of these pellet grills. And people always say, oh, now you're getting to be like James G. Travels with your barbecue and all this stuff. He used to come to my house. That's where he learned about pellet grills. And when I had barbecues, we'd have, I'd barbecue all this stuff up. And sometimes I'd invite him over and say, hey, come over here and eat this. Somebody's got to eat it. He'd come over there and just love that stuff. And he's like, how are you doing that? And I showed him the pellet grill. And we did all this up and everything, and I showed him how to operate. And next thing I know, he went on bought himself a pet boss, and then he was all on YouTube about it and stuff. But this is one that I have. I had the Louisiana one. It was something I lost in a divorce. You know what's really sad? Is she had called me afterward and said, hey, if you want this grill, come and get it. And I was like, okay. And I waited, I don't know, I was on trucking or whatever. I came over like a month later or something. And I says, and I brought a trailer with me and everything. And I'm like, hey, come for this grill. Oh, that's gone. I said, what do you mean it's gone? Because I put that on Marketplace or Craigslist or so. I'm like, okay, whatever. I said, I hope you got something for it. And she said, I got $50 for it. It was crazy. But we're going to start barbecuing this brisket. And what you after, darling?
I'm moving the tools out of the kitchen.
Well, they're going back in the kitchen as soon as I get this going.
Not those ones.
Oh, okay. But we're going to get this fired up. I guess that was a long intro. But we're going to get this fired up. First thing I need to do is clean it. I've gotten it all torn apart. And this is an adjuster rod that adjusts the heat box, so you can direct the heat box more evenly. And from moving it up here, I actually got smashed in the trailer and this thing was bent, so I had to re-straighten it. Just took a hammer and re-straightened it. So once in a while with pellet grills, the thing that you have to do, and like that one I bought my parents, that Pit Boss with all the other stuff, it was saying that it was all self-cleaning and all this stuff. Yeah, it is to a point, but all the reviews I saw and from using it, there's still dust and all this stuff and ash that gets all down in there. And really, before you do a big cook, you need to vacuum. So I got my shop vacuum out here, and I've already vacuumed some of this, and I thought, I should be videoing this. But you got to vacuum everything, and then this is your firebox, and it gets filled up with ash, and so you need to vacuum that out so that it keeps it clean. And this one's got a lot of capabilities, and the heat gets real hot on it, and that's what I like, because sometimes I want to sear a steak or something, and this thing, I think it gets up to 650 degrees. So that's really nice. Where a lot of other ones, they don't go even close to that. But it has a see-through window so that you can see down in there and see what's going on. It has a built-in light, so that it lights it up and everything in there. And you can hook up power probes. You can have 2 different probes going in there. The shelf snaps out, so you have a place to set things when you're working. And then this over here is an antenna. And this thing here connects to my phone. And it actually, I can control it. I can turn temperatures up and down. I can turn it off. I could do all these different things. I can set timers on it, all this stuff, and I can watch the temperature of the meat right from my phone. So I don't sit here and be constantly messing with this thing. So we're going to fire this thing up. And the one kind of cool thing about it, but I could never see doing it, but if you're like a tailgater or something like that, and you want to take this to a football game or something, smoke out in the parking lot, this little box right here plugs into 120, and then this here goes together. I have it taped together so it doesn't come apart, because I found my first cook it kind of would disconnect once in a while. But this is actually a cigarette plug-in for a cigarette lighter. And you can actually, and it has this real long cord, you can actually run this cord up to your vehicle, up to the front of your vehicle, plug this into a cigarette lighter socket, and power this grill and control this grill. So you can take this grill with you and you can power it right off your car, right off a 12-volt system. It also comes with another plug like this, and it has 2 little alligator clips that you can clip onto a battery. But I don't plan on taking it that way. So we're going to preheat the thing, and so basically all we do is we just turn the power on. And what it's going to do is go through a whole cycle thing. It's going to do a 1, 2, 3 step. It starts to feed pellets in there. A little igniter thing starts to get red hot. Then a fan's going to kick on, and it's going to start to get those pellets hot, and then start them on fire. And once that all gets done with, I think it takes it up to 145 or something like that. And then once it reaches that, then you can change the temperature. These are the pellets that I use. These are probably the most common pellets that I use for almost everything. And the only other ones that I will use is an apple pellet that I'll use for like fish and stuff like that. But these one here, these are the Griller's Gold, and I actually get these from the same place I got this from, this Green Mountain Grill. And this is the Daniel Boone edition if you look at these. But I get this from the same place, and they're actually really good flavor, and they're good pellets. They do well. And these are Griller's Gold and the Smoke Shack, and this has oak, hickory, and mesquite. And that basically works for almost everything. Your beef, your pork, stuff like that. So it's going through all that. So while that's setting up, I'll grab my phone. Alright, my phone just dinged at me. I just walked over there. I was going to walk in the house and ask, actually. And my phone just dinged at me and said, hey, your girl's target temperature has been reached. So we dismissed that. And then we just tap on this, and we're wanting to go to 185. That's where we're going to start our smoke at here for our brisket. So we're going to type in 185, hit confirm, and then boom. It's going to start feeding pellets, everything else. Right here is the 185, and it's going to heat up until it gets to 185. So this will do its thing and everything, and I'm going to go in and get the brisket. There's the Tracy, hard at work, dinging and clicking buttons. Alright, so let's take a look at this brisket. And there it is. See how all that seasoning has gone in, it's soaked into it. It's been breaking the meat down and everything. See all the juices in there and stuff. So now we are going to, I don't really think we're going to have to add in more rub. It's got a good coating on it. It's perfect. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Why not? Let's put some more rub in it.
Why not?
So this is the rub that we have. We've got enough here probably to do another one.
Yay.
And this time I can actually get up on time. There we go. And then that's good coating on there. So I guess I gotta wash my hands. Some people could say, well, why aren't you wearing rubber gloves? I say you can rub your own meat with your bare hands.
Whoa.
Alright guys, we are out here at the grill, and we have reached our target temperature. So we're going to open her up. See all that nice smoke. You gotta remember, this is our fat side, so this is going to be up. So basically what we're going to do, I'm not going to inject it again because it's full. I can feel it. It's very plump and stuff. But during the cook, I will actually inject this a little bit. So there we go. Fat side up. We close this up, and it's actually going to be about 5 hours like that. So it's going to be about 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a probe in here, and we're going to put it into right in the middle of the meat, just like that. That probe is going to stay in there for basically the whole time. When I do flip it, I will pull it back out and put it on different sides, but you don't want to poke a lot of holes in it. Okay, so then we're going to plug this in. And now we'll give that way we can look on our phone and see what the temperature meat is doing and check on it once in a while. So now we just got to let this sit and smoke. That's That's all we're doing. We're just adding that smoky flavor, putting a smoke ring in the meat. So while I'm doing that, now I'm going to work on projects. I'm going to get back on all those wood projects here. Try to do finish all the molding stuff in the kitchen, get that all done. And then probably other things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be installing a new door lift. This one here doesn't work. I actually have to close the door by hand. It works. It takes the door down, but it won't. It gets about a foot away from being all the way down, and then it stops and goes back up. I've tried all the adjustments on that door lift. I cannot get that thing to work. I think it has to do with the sensor over here, and I'm tired of messing with it. I like to just have the push button ease of it. So I was in town the other day and they had one. It's the exact same model. I actually just bought the new one. I'm going to install it in here, and then I think it's just the sensors. So I'm going to order new sensors for this one, and then when I build the pole barn in the back, I'll just put this one in there. And I mean, even if I could probably get it around where it doesn't have the sensors or something, where I can adjust it or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I could be able to use this one in the next shed. So it's no big deal. So I'll probably get to that today. And then I'm also going to try to get to my snow bike and get the track and the front ski pulled off. Put the tires back on. I brought everything up here. Probably do that today. This I got it delivered yesterday. Bought the stuff at Amazon. It is a lift. You put it underneath there, and it's got a lever that you step down on, and it'll pick the bike up. So that'll make it easier to do this. So I bought that. It's a motorcycle dirt bike stand or whatever. I'm not sure it's going to go high enough with the ski and track on there, because it's actually really high up in the air. But it should make it easier. And then I also bought a kickstand for a dirt bike, because I never had one. And this goes into your rear axle, and that way you can just tip the bike over on its own stand. And then when you go ride, you just knock it out of there and you go. So, never did have one of those. So I think I'm going to try to get that done today, and then I might even run to town and get some pegboard. And I also have to help the neighbor. We're going to put a mailbox for this house on his mailbox stand. So I have to go to town and get some grain treated lumber and make a stand and get a cheap mailbox, stick it on there for temporary. So I find the one I want. So lots to do today. Well guys, this has been going for a couple hours now. I just punched up my app on my phone inside and looked at it. And we're reaching temperature of the meat. Temperature is 96 degrees on the meat. So it's doing a nice low and smo, and slow mo. And that is what a smoker is supposed to look like. That is what you're supposed to have. Hello.
Hi. You smoking?
Yeah. Doing a little brisket. And that is what you want. That is giving you your smoke flavor. And I mean, look at this. There's even smoke coming out where the grease comes up. That is perfect. Now you're not supposed to open them up. Okay, these smokers, you're not supposed to open these things up. But we'll just do it quick. You can see how much smoke is in there. That is perfect. That is what it's supposed to look like. So now we're going to flip it. And you can see it here. See if you can see it through the smoke. It's basically looking all black. That's what you want it to look like. So we won't even need to take out this probe, but what we're going to do is we're going to flip it. And now we're going to put it fat side down. And we're going to cook it just for a little while longer. And what we're doing is we're just putting smoke into it. We're putting flavor into the meat. Brisket is a very tough meat. And to make it a very tender meat, you need to cook it low and slow for a long time. So now we're just going to do another couple hours on that. And then what we're going to be doing is pulling it out, and we're going to wrap it. And we're going to put some juices in it and everything else, and then put it back on there and cook it, and then start getting it up to temperature. And I have been working on the woodworking stuff and everything, and I'll show you guys what I've been doing with that. I've gotten a few things done. There she is, Miss America. She's done with work for the day. She's turned the computer off. So, this is done now. I can take this clamp off. What I've done so far is put a coat around up there, up to the ceiling there. That's what I plan on doing around the whole place. I put this, it's like a paneling. It looks just like the hardwood. It's the same material that's in here. It's basically just a paneling that's made out of, it's laminated stuff, and it's got a thin layer that looks just like this. It's working perfect. So I've coated the cabinet with it there. And I've put it also on this end of the cabinet so you don't see the fake wood anymore. I'm probably going to end up putting, I wasn't planning it, but I think I'm going to put a quarter round down there too. I think it'll look better. And then I made up this whole deal. This all goes around this door to seal up this crack. I can't put it across the back because when the door comes down, it'll hit. It's not really a big deal. But I got it all rigged up, and so then this door will open. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. You just slide that back, and this whole, all the frame comes with the door. It's all screwed into the door. And we're going to paint this the same color as the ceiling, so it's kind of not going to be noticeable. And now I have just moved on to here. I'm kind of moving around the room, and I just put this piece of paneling on here. And now I'm going to put those two pieces on, and then do the molding around. And that there around the entryway is going to get that same white molding that's over there. That will get that up to there, and then I'm going to do a 3/4 round stuff around the floor. And then I'll probably put the big white stuff back against that wall. And then that doesn't get touched, that gets painted, same color as the walls. And then move around the bottom, kick plate all the way around here too. And then start putting the paneling on these end walls and stuff. So that's what I'm working on. Alright guys, it's been another couple hours with the fat side down, and we are good to go. So now if you come and take a look at this, it's going to be hard to see with the smoke and stuff, but it basically looks like it's blackened. It's got a real good bark on it. This is very hard on the outside. So it is done. So you can see it's got some tenderness to it. But the thing is when it gets that bark like that, it can't get any more smoke. So you're done with the smoke. The smoke, you can sit here and smoke it forever and ever and ever. Where are you going? And you will not get any more smoke. And when you cut open a piece of meat and they show you where the smoke line is and all that stuff, you can't get any more smoke into it. It's got that hard bark on it. So now we're going to flip it back over. I should have my gloves. I don't have them up here. But we're going to pull our thermometer out. And this is very hot. And then we have ourselves a foil boat made. Just trying to blow away. Basically you just take tin foil like this, and I usually get the Reynolds, the real non-stick stuff, the real wide stuff. And you want to take this and put this in here with the fat side up again. Alright, and then we got this here juice made up. And one thing we can do too is put our temp thing back in here. You want to put it into the biggest part of the meat, and you want to have it right in the center of the meat. There we go. There we go. So now this is the juice that we made, that I made up. And basically what it is beef broth, Worcester sauce, and some of that rub is put into it. And then you got to heat it up. Because if you put it in cold, what you're going to do is all the little pores inside there, it's warm now, it's like 155, 60 degrees. And the pores are all opening up, letting everything go through. If you put this cold sauce inside of it, it's going to close all the pores up. And then flavor will stop. And it's got to go start all over. So we've mixed this up and the seasoning and everything in here, and you heat this up and it breaks down all the salt in it and everything. And we're going to flick this up. And we're going to just start injecting. Now we got the wall in the kitchen.
It's all over the wedgie.
She calls her car a wedgie. if you ever had burnt ends or burnt tips, this is where it comes from. This piece of meat right here. Because all the corners and stuff, they get done sooner. And so a lot of people will cut them off, just the corners parts, they get done sooner. And they'll put them into like baked beans and stuff. And they're very good flavor.
It's my favorite.
There we go. It's all injected, and then you want to take the rest of it, and you just want to put it over top. And what you want to have is you want to have about 1/4 inch of that liquid up on it, and then we're going to wrap it. And you want this here to be inside. Like so. And it's very hot. Grab it again. That's way too much here. And the whole point of this, of doing what we're doing here, is we're keeping all those juices in here because we're going to be turning the heat up down to finish cooking it. And if you don't do that, you don't have the juices in here, or if this foil leaks and the juices come out, you will get a dry piece of brisket. It'll be super dry. So, I always put a whole bunch of layers underneath it. And you gotta remember we got the fat side up. Kind of fold it in different ways so it keeps all those juices inside. Like so. And then we're going to put it right on here in the center. We're going to close it up. I could use my phone, but we're just going to actually do old school and push a button.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. And we're going to turn it to 225. And we're going to let that go until the internal temperature reads about 198 to 201. Once that temperature gets up to about 199 to 200, we're pulling it off. You pull it off instantly. You don't let it get over 200. If you get it over 200, once again, dry brisket. So 200 is the magic number. 199, 200, 201 is the top. And then what we do is we have a cooler sitting over there. And hopefully it doesn't smell too much of turkey. So there was a turkey in there. We left in there for like the whole winter. But then we're going to pull this off, put it in real hot. It's going to be really hot and everything. And we're going to put that into the cooler and we're going to let it sit in there for about a half an hour, 45 minutes. Until it start letting it cool down. I know she's moaning. Oh, really? And you got to let it start to cool down all by itself. And it sucks all them juices back up into the meat as it starts to cool down. Then you pull it off. Alright guys, we just pulled it out of the cooler. And it's very hot. I do not... I have a pair of insulated rubber gloves that I usually do for this, but I don't have everything up here. I also am missing a very important thing too, my electric knife. I actually have the electric knife, I don't have the blades. They're in the cabinet now. So now we're going to open this up. We're going to see what we got. That's so hot. It's so hot. Alright. So now what we do with the aluminum foil, this has all the fat and everything else that has been rendered down and all this stuff, and it has all the flavors from there. This is great for making a sauce. So what you do is you get one of these. I don't know what they call them. I don't know. But you get one of these things here and you dump the liquid from this into it. You can see all the yellow inside there, that's all the fat and everything. And we let that sit for a little bit. And what that's going to do is it separates the fat from the liquid. And we can see it already starting to happen. You can see the fat starting to get up on top here. And so we just let that sit for a little bit. But in the meantime, we can start slicing. I don't have my electric knife. Oh, I'm trying to figure out the grain here. Okay, this way. And so I'm going to have to use this regular knife. Is it on me? Is it on this? Mm-hmm. So you see the red around there? That is the smoke. And then what you want to do is have the membrane so it pulls apart. You can see how it stretches. Yeah, that's what you want.
Where are you going with that?
No, you can't have it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try for an 1/8 inch. Boy, electric knife is so much faster, so much better. Here, we'll take a piece and show it to you guys. So basically, see how it stretches? That's what you want, and then you want it to break apart. Just like that. Yep. That is called Texas brisket right there.
That is very good. A little spicy. Whoa.
My brother would love this.
Whoa.
This one got a little spicy. This one got a little spicy. Tracy is not a very spicy person. Just breathe through it, darling. And when you cut this, you want to go against the grain too, of the meat. Just like so. And that's how you serve brisket. That's the right way. Are you looking at me or the thing?
Oh, You're both on there, but I'm looking at that.
Okay. This is how you serve brisket. I hate people that grab a bun and put brisket on a bun. If it's cooked properly, this is a great piece of meat. And I hate people that put it on a bun and eat it like a hamburger. That's not what it is. But you have this juice and everything that came from the meat from cooking it, all the flavors and stuff, and then also is beef broth. It is Worcestershire sauce, some of the spices into it, and you heat that all up and pour it over the top of it, and then you can, take a fork and grab a couple pieces out and stuff, put it on your plate, and we have made mashed potatoes. You see how that pulls like that? It's cut a little bit thick. That's perfect though. And we have made some mashed potatoes. And we were going to have some vegetables too, but we got canned vegetables and we don't have a can opener. But we'll take some mashed potatoes, and a lot of times you can do is you can scoop some of the sauce out and put it over your mashed potato or something. That's the way you do it. So it's time to eat.
Hallelujah.
And I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they watch this here video. And if you're not, well, certainly let's try that all over again tomorrow. I'll show you guys what I got finished in here. You can see right there, I got all the finished wood. Here, let me get this right. I got all the finished wood on these end of these cabinets. I have gotten the edge done on here, and I'm waiting for this to dry, and then I just got to sand the edges. Got this edge put on. I got that all done. Got it all trimmed around. We're thinking maybe we're going to put some outside trim on this. It's got juice on there. And I got a piece of trim along the bottom, and then I got that bottom kick panel in, but I haven't gotten the trim on the floor yet, and I'm still working on this one. And then out here, I got this end cap put on here too. So, and that's all sanded down. So there you guys go. Been a work in progress all day long. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to try to finish that kick panel and put the plywood on here and there and there, and maybe put the trim. I would love to be finishing this room today. So that's where I'm working to. See you guys later.